there's been no shortage of excitements for the Longhorns this year as Charlie Strong puts together his first full recruiting class. Plenty to like about this class, Annabelle. Let's start with Malik Jefferson, the headline of this class, getting the nation's top outside linebacker to stay home. What do you like about him?
Yeah, Amy, it's no secret that Texas has obviously not been doing well on the recruiting trail in the past couple of years. Charlie Strong, this is his first full recruiting cycle. Landing a guy like Malik Jefferson, aside from Jefferson's obvious talents, aside from having the opportunity to have him come in, enroll early, recruit some of the other guys, the fact that Texas was able to win an in-state recruiting battle with Texas A&M, a head-to-head battle, is huge for the Longhorns and their recruiting momentum, and we're continuously seeing that. Chris Boyd, Holton Hill, a duo of cornerbacks who committed this past week, and it's the first time in a couple of years that Texas has been able to pick up some of the top in-state cornerback talent. So they're doing that. A lot of guys, I mean, they're plenty of areas. Kai Locksley, quarterback flipping from Florida State recently, replenishing ranks on the offensive line with guys like Brandon Hodges, Patrick Vahe, who we mentioned earlier. There is so much talent, and Texas is doing a very good job of identifying the positions of need and really going after those guys. And one thing to say about Charlie Strong is he's really not giving up. We saw him recruit all the way until the dead period, and I think we're seeing that pay off today.
Getting those Texas guys is going to really help, I think, speed up the process in getting Kansas back to where they want to be.
And I want to touch up on Kinner. I mean, I think he's a very under-the-radar prospect. He's a running back out of Navarro College, and he's rushed for almost 2,000 yards in just 2 years at Navarro. He didn't have many offers, but I think he's the type of guy that could come in and really have people in the Big 12 talking this year. He's going to be one of those guys that people are going to say, where did he come from? Big news coming in for Texas Tech this morning. Picking up two signees, both letters of intent in from South Oak Cliff defensive back Jameel Johnson, as well as wide receiver J.F. Thomas. Johnson was committed to Texas as of a week ago. Thomas committed to TCU as of this morning. So those are two huge flips for Texas Tech. Cliff Kingsbury maybe not getting it done on the field, but is still getting it done on the recruiting trail.
When you need to improve your defense, you go get talent, and Oklahoma wasn't sitting by waiting for local kids. They went national and international to bring in some defensive upgrades.
And on the offensive side of the ball, you're seeing them bringing in a new offensive coordinator in Lincoln Riley. It's important to note that they're not bringing in a quarterback in this class, but I think that's okay because they're going to be switching to the air raid offense. And I think that with the talent that they have on their roster, there are 4 quarterbacks on there right now, so they have plenty of depth. Things that they were doing in the past, obviously not working for the Sooners, the season not playing out the way they wanted it to, but they're bringing in a great JUCO wide receiver in D.D. Westbrook, one of the top-ranked guys in the country, and he's going to be able to come in and make an impact immediately as well. So I think things are looking good for them on the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball.
We can't deny what Gary Patterson has done this past season, a program also with plenty of recruiting momentum as well. Guys are excited about TCU, guys who are in regions that have never been excited about TCU before. What can we say about what he's been able to do to get that recruiting momentum going, getting people excited about the Horned Frogs?
Amy, I remember covering the program 2 years ago and hearing some of the players talk about it. TCU not really a program that they were familiar with while they were playing in the Mountain West. They moved to the Big 12. Not only that, but they dominate in the Big 12, and now guys are very excited. A very solid list of commits. A lot of guys have already faxed in their letters of intent this morning. One guy who I saw play twice this year, who I'm very excited about for the Horned Frogs, is a defensive lineman, Tipa Galliai. He's a big guy, going to be able to come in, bring some size to the defensive line. He needs to put on some weight, but I think that in 1 or 2 seasons, he could really be a force to be reckoned with on their defensive line.
Top 5 team and projected to be even better next year. That's the kind of momentum that Gary Patterson was looking for when they moved in the Big 12, and Samaj Thomas is kind of one of those flagship type guys.
That's the scariest thing about it is they're not losing a lot of talent. They're going to be able to come in and compete for the title, and I think after things played out the way they did with the playoffs, TCU is playing with a chip on their shoulder this year, and we're going to see some talent on the field.
He ends up committing to Oklahoma State. That's a big pickup for Mike Gundy.
And another guy that they're getting on the defensive line is Mota Male, a JUCO player like you were talking about. He's a 6'4", 300-pound defensive tackle. Another guy who's going to be able to come in and make an immediate impact. Oklahoma State is a team I think that's been having success in the Big 12, but recently not so much. So it's good for them to get these guys that can come in and play instantly.
We're going to move on now to Baylor, a program that had a really great season last year, nearly make the college football playoff. This class is headlined by 5-star quarterback Jarrett Stidham. What do you like about this Baylor Bears 2015 recruiting class?
Yeah, I think Jarrett Stidham is one of those things that Texas Tech fans are going to be talking about for a long time. He was an early enrollee, flipped from the Red Raiders just a week, I think, before he was about to enroll. So huge get for Baylor. Obviously losing their quarterback in Bryce Petty. Stidham is a guy that's going to be able to come in and, considering that he's there for the spring, compete right away. We've seen what Baylor is able to do at the quarterback position, and I think that Stidham is just going to be another guy in a long line of guys who are going to lead the Bears to success on the field.